Hi everybody, it's Kimberly Castle with Tiara Talk. I am here this week talking to you about social media. Social media is such a huge part of getting ready and promoting your pageant title that I thought it would be important to really just have a whole session on social media itself. So let's dig right in. So what is social media? I think at this point we all know what social media is, but it includes things like posting on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Snapchat, Pinterest, Google+, all the things. Everybody has different platforms that they migrate to naturally, and maybe your audience is very specific and enjoys following you on specific platforms. So focus on those. For me, the two main ones are Facebook and Instagram. I do post on Twitter sometimes. I don't necessarily post on Snapchat. I just don't have a following that is on Snapchat for the most part, and quite honestly, I am not a Snapchat expert. So if you are, I'd love to hear your tips about Snapchat. So let's talk about what are some of the just general things that you should consider when you're taking part in posting on social media. So one of the key things is have consistency. So make sure you're posting consistently. So whether or not that means you're posting once a week, because that is what works for you, or whether it means you're posting once a day, make sure you're consistent, because your audience typically looks for you to post during certain times of the day, and if you're posting every day, they're looking for those posts every day. I know for me, if I miss a day, my audience actually will let me know, hey, we missed your post yesterday, or why haven't you posted yet today? So get on a regular routine that you're posting on. One of the things that I actually do in order to kind of keep that schedule is actually I use an application called Ladder. There are a lot of different applications on the market, but it helps me plan out my posts, and you can schedule them to post automatically to Instagram with whatever frequency you want. So whether that's multiple times a day, multiple times a week, or every day. So I use Ladder. So just go to ladder.com, and actually there's a ton of knowledge on there, whether or not you use their platform, just about tips and tricks on how to use social media to your advantage. So I typically find Instagram has the most engagement for me. And again, interact with your fans. So one of the things that I learned that I wasn't doing early on is if your fans are commenting on your posts, please make sure that you respond to every single one of their comments. I know if you have a huge following like, Kim Kardashian, and there's millions of comments, they're not able to do that. But when you're growing your audience, your fans want to hear from you, and they've taken time out of their day to comment or post on your posts. So be sure to respond, show the appreciation, and not just an emoji like a heart emoji or a thumbs up. Actually comment something back to them to make sure you're aware and you're thankful for them to be following you. I mean, because without them following you, you don't have the fans. So make sure you're interacting with your fans. They love that, and that's important. So the next thing I just wanted to touch on is hashtags. There's a lot of debate about hashtags, whether or not they're useful or not. A lot of people I've heard feel like hashtags are impersonal. But I do like hashtags, and the reason I like it is because it gives you the ability to be searched by hashtags. So hashtag pageant, for example, hashtag Canadian pageants. It allows people who are actually searching for that information to search that hashtag and find your posts. So I actually like to use hashtags. I also use another app to help me narrow in on the hashtags that are important, but also Ladder helps me track which posts are most successful of mine, and then the hashtags that are related, so you can start to narrow down the hashtags that you're using. So again, hashtags allow you to be able to be searched and find, people can find your posts also through hashtags. All right, so when is the best time to post? If you look in the handout that comes with this will narrow it down a lot more for you, but for me, I find different times of the day and different times of the week are more, I get more engagement. Specifically for me, Thursdays are very busy and popular days. Like usually my posts that I put out on Thursdays have the most engagement. And usually if I post around 7 a.m., I also get a lot more engagement then. So I find if you're posting before people are going to work, because in the mornings they might be on social media before they start their work day, maybe at lunchtime, and then in the evenings again, those are the times I find that I post that I get the most engagement. But in the slides that come along with this video, you can actually see, and I've got this information again from ladder.com, it shows you the best times to post of the day, and it just depends. But again, on most days it's before work, maybe around lunchtime, and then in the evenings, just as a general rule, but you can look at more detail. Again, if you're using a platform like Ladder, you can actually start to narrow that down to what your audience specifically likes to see. So you can, again, start to see what days of the week are most popular for your audience to like and interact with your posts, and then also what times of the day you can experiment with that to start to see when they like to see posts from you. All right. Last but not least that I'm going to cover today in social media is make sure you have a good bio in your Instagram feed or even on your Facebook feed. So that little piece that's on your header page that has your name and then it explains, a little bit about yourself. So make sure it's descriptive and maybe even creative. Take a look at some of the examples that your fellow competitors might have or other beauty pageants might have, just to see what they're doing, but even other companies, what they're doing. I was looking at one, and the example I have here is as the MeUndies, and they have their description as making the world a comfier place for every booty. So, they have something clever in there. They've also got a call to action. So you might want to consider doing that too. Add a call to action like visit my website, or you can vote for me by going to this link. They have theirs is basically shop our feed, and then they have a link to their website. But again, think about what that might be for you. Include all the important information. What's your website? Do you have any sponsors? Maybe you want to tag your sponsors in there. Are there any hashtags that you want to include in your bio? So make sure you have a creative and fun bio so that when people find you, they're excited to follow you and they know who you are and there's no confusion. All right, everybody, that's everything for today on social media. I hope this was helpful. Take a look at the PowerPoint presentation that comes along with this, because then you'll get to see all the other details, and I'd love to hear your social media tips and tricks. Again, this is Kimberly Castle with Tiara Talk.